and welcome to Tech Tips with Sold Out Media. I'm Amanda, and today we have the new Zhiyun Weebill 2. And this is the Pro Plus kit that we got here on the table. And I think where the technology is going, and for the price, it's an excellent kit, especially if you're somebody who's working with a small crew. But let's get down to business. The max payload of this device is 7.3 pounds or 3.3 kilos. The Pro Plus kit will run you about 1,100 euros. The flip LCD screen on the gimbal is 2.9 inches, and the Master Eye is 1,000 nits of brightness. It has about 60 milliseconds of latency. It can be up to 100 meters away, and you can still have control with this device. The battery is not a replaceable battery. The battery itself is built into the grip. They say that the charge time for this battery is 1.6 hours, and it will last you up to 9 hours of playtime. First thing, let's mount the plate to the camera. Next thing you're going to want to mount is the quick release plate that goes to the extra handle. Take the foot or the mini tripod. I want to spin him on there good and tight. You see all my axes are locked. I'm going to unlock the first one. I'm going to make sure that this part here is tight so it doesn't slide around while I'm going to try to put my expensive lens on. So I want that to be right smack in the middle for starters. All right, all this stuff here is to add the ring to help you assist with the focusing. Right here at the very bottom. This slides in almost perfectly. This is molded to this. It's the bigger screw hole. So I want to align that and get that in there. Look at that. That lets you put this pole through, and you can get an extender pole, by the way. So you can go even longer out if you have a bigger deal on there. And then your motor slides on there. So now you get some different bands here for different things. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap that around my lens and attach it so it's nice and snug. On the top of the transmitter, there is another plate. I took it off and I mounted it right here on the bottom with the screws that came with the plate. Before I balance anything, I want to make sure that I actually take all of my cables and attach them. The yellow cable goes from the transmitter to the gimbal arm itself, and it's going to the lower slot of the gimbal arm. There we go. This cable here with the bent corners that actually takes care of my focus wheel, and it comes up to my focus motor. It comes up and plugs into the connection that's right above where the yellow marked cable is. Next, I want to take my camera control cable, and I'm going to connect my HDMI cable from my R to the transmitter AI. There. Next, I want to take the quick arm up and down like that. So I got a lock on that side, and I got a little mini lock right there to lock that in. After all that stuff is attached, we got to balance it. First thing first, like I said, you want to balance the top. Now you see, with all that stuff, it wants to fly down. So I want to unscrew this top part here and shimmy that back a little bit until this top part balances. There, now it's in place, right? Then I can go forward, and you see it still wants to pull forward. So my lens needs to kind of come back just a bit. Then I'll try this again. So that's balanced. That's balanced. Then I unlock this arm and I can see that is not balanced. But the issue is there is no adjustment on this arm. All of your adjustment for this axis comes from where the plate sits right here. So we're just shimmying, shimmy jimmy, this one to the side a little bit until it stops pulling that way. Now I'm going to test this axis again. Good. This axis again. Good. And you can see I'm fine this way. I'm going to lock these real quick. This one's kind of always freaks me out. You gotta lay it on the side. You unlock right there to loosen it and take the lock off. So you see it wants to tilt that way when I lay it flat. So that means I need to come back a little bit because there's so much weight on it, it doesn't want to just slide unless I'm upright. There, look at that. That's what you want to see. So then I can put the latch back. All right, so now that all that's done, I'm going to flip out my camera's flip screen and flip it so I can see it. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the Weebill. Like so. It's on. And it's giving me an alarm because the access are all locked. So, or are they locked? I'm going to flip out my flip screen. I'm going to turn on my camera next. Once camera's all up and fired up, I'm going to go ahead and turn on the AI transmitter. I'm going to fire on the master eye. And this thing is seriously cool. It actually can control a great deal of well, it controls everything that the gimbal does. So if there's a little Wi-Fi icon right there. When you press that, the Zhiyun tech comes up. You press that and connect. And so now it should be connected, and there you go. There's my image. Now, you can see with the joystick, I am controlling the camera, right? And if I press this button here, F2, I see the gimbal jolt it. Now it's actually controlling based on my movement. If I press F2 off again, then it's free. So then down here, I have really handy all of my camera settings. Now you can see Jacob is the cameraman today. So Jake, if you move from side to side, you can see it's following you. Yeah, there you go. There's not a lot of light on Jake, so it's actually doing pretty good to follow him. Yeah, so there you have it, guys. The zoom wheel is working and everything. We totally nailed this. Then you have another option. You can actually use your phone and download the app, and it will come up with all this stuff on it. Whenever I open the app, it asks me to connect to the Weebill. So I'm just going to connect. And now it's asking me if I want to join the ZY Play network. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and join that. Now I can actually control the camera from here now. You can actually use a joystick or an altitude control. I'm going to show you this has force motion as well. So now you can see the phone is controlling. So there are 4 different packages you can get with this, and why that's important at this point of the story is the first package is really just the basic gimbal, and then you can use the app to control everything on the gimbal, but you don't actually get the image of the camera to your phone. You need to have the transmount AI transmitter. Same thing goes for the LCD screen on the actual body here. So size-wise, look, you can see these guys are very similar. There's the DJI Rowan. There's the DJI Rowan bag. Yeah, you can see size-wise, these two are very similar. There was one other thing I wanted to show you with this. This gimbal has levers to tighten it. Well, this lever was actually so loose I couldn't tighten the thing, and it had a tiny Allen key, again, as provided in the bag, a tiny Allen key that I could try to tighten it with, but I couldn't get it very tight at all. What I had to do was actually lift this, because it's like kind of a ratchet lever. I had to lift it and pull it all the way over here, then get the Allen key in to tighten it. To figure this out straight out of the box was actually quite a bit of a pain in the butt. Again, because the screen wouldn't connect at all from my camera. The HDMI wouldn't connect until I figured out to unplug it and plug it back in. So if you're running into that trouble, then you also maybe have a solution there. One thing I will say is once I did get it working, loved it instantly. Once everything got dialed in and tweaked, it's excellent. I'm going to have a hard time deciding between which one of these gimbals I'm going to keep and which one I'm going to sell. All right, well, we'll see you out in the field. All right, so now that we're outside a little bit, I'm going to show you a little bit more of the features of this, or the modes that you can go into. So just to show you the calibration on the Zhiyun. So I'll come out of the screen for the view and auto calibrates. And then you press start. And you'll see it'll shake the table too. There it goes, shaking away. You can actually go in and see how each motor is doing. So if you feel like one of the motors isn't quite doing what it should, it will tell you exactly where that problem is inside the screen. So now it's finished calibrating, and let's see if I can see where that is. Balance check. So on the top, and then it actually goes through and analyzes each of your motors. So now for modes, you do have a quick access to some of the modes right on the corner here. You have pan follow, lock, and follow right at your thumb. But here, if I press the modes, I have a whole bunch of them. I have pan follow, lock mode, follow mode, POV mode. So let's start with vortex mode. So if you go into the vortex mode, there, that easy, underslung, and if I spin the wheel, it just goes like that. So then you're following somebody and it looks like they're in some kind of trippy dream. And that's your vortex mode. Go mode, it just makes all of your motions a little bit more sensitive. So it's kind of a quick follow instead of a slow follow. Portrait mode, I think it wants you to be in the underslung, and it gives you that kind of Instagram filming, or if you're doing wedding photography, there you go. POV mode, and what that is doing is it's unlocking the roll axis, so it's following with you that way. It's unlocking the tilt axis, and it's unlocking the pan axis. So it's kind of like a first player video game type mode. Follow mode, it has the up and down still, and it has the side to side, but no roll action. Lock mode, all the axes are locked. So the camera's going to try to hold, or sorry, the gimbal's going to try to hold this perspective, and then pan follow is the roll stays, the tilt stays, but the pan is the only axis that's free moving. Yeah. So, I mean, that is so easy. Everything is just right at the touch screen for me. Versus the DJI. And Jake really likes the DJI. I'm a big fan of DJI stuff overall, but when it comes to like what mode you're in, there's a whole combination of buttons that you have to press to get to all the different modes. You really have to memorize or use it often enough that you know exactly which buttons to press to get to which feature you're looking for. And like for me, for example, I wouldn't probably use the 360 mode very often. So I'd have to go back and look up how to get to that mode. Again, both of these are great devices and they have all of the same features pretty much, but this is a real winner for me with the Master Eye controller. With the easy to get to touchscreen, I think it's a terrific device. Those are the two big improvements, I think, with this, plus the extra handle, how easy it is with the underslung. Both gimbals are excellent. This guy costs a lot less, even with the Pro package. The DJI Rowan comes in way under the Pro Plus package for this guy. But you have to go with where your budget is. You do get a lot of bang for your buck with the Ronin. And considering you lose a lot of the features if you don't have the transmitter with this guy, I don't know. If I had a budget, I'd probably stick with the Ronin or with the Weebill S, the smaller one of these. But if I have the money to spend and a bigger production, I'm going to definitely go with the Zhiyun. That's my conclusion with it. Thank you for watching, and I hope you guys have an awesome day. Like and subscribe. Yeah. Do you have is it recording?
like and subscribe, please.
That was still good.
They're quite far away too, right?
I'm putting on antennas.
Good job, kid.